certain thing. And that's kind of the TikTokification, how people consume content. If you see someone sitting in a studio like myself, and it's, here are the 5 reasons why you should buy in Los Angeles, that's not going to get anything, right? It's setting changes. You're in your car, you're on your stage. It's an overview shot or a POV shot of you actually talking to someone. So Sharon, that was insanely valuable. And someone said in the comments, which I thought was funny, their favorite hobby is now watching Sharon watching his own videos. So great job. Oh, see you, Sharon. Welcome back. So that was amazing. Byron, anything to add there?
I would never cut Sharon off the screen like that. That was insane, Bobby. Almost insane. Sharon, unbelievable. One of the things that I really took away from that is you just took the pressure off of everybody creating content for their business. You took the pressure off by saying, don't worry about virality. Don't worry about views. Focus on creating content for something that's going to be shared, something of value. And so that really just took the pressure off of everybody as we move forward and create our content throughout the year. And I'm seeing the comments reflect exactly what you shared. You mentioned Neil Dingra. He's in the comments. And so this community is absolutely on fire. That must be the first time you had Neil Dingra and Nick Saban side by side with Trey Serrano. So I've never seen that before in my life. That's
a good pull for Nick Saban.
That's ever happened. And Nick Saban to be a part of the BAM Pro Bowl. Unbelievable poll.
Sharon. Well, I had to get some football reference in this, and I was like, how do I do that? And so, but by the way, that video though is one of my favorites because that hook, like, I've told you this 3 times already. Like, you want to know what the next 3 seconds are, right? And I will tell you, those of you who are not getting and not reading Eric's BAM emails, like, you will notice the entire job of the subject line is to read the first line. The entire job of the first line is to read the second line. People that can write well can make better videos. So watch how Eric writes these emails, and then you'll realize that in a lot of ways, it's a human psychology thinking pattern, right? And so you want to keep people. The retention is not, well, I'm going to put this hook in and get these jump cuts. There is a path to it, because if you say dumb stuff, like, people will drop off.
And Neil, in the comments, he said right now. So if we're looking for something next week, that warning hook that you mentioned is crushing it. So you mentioned he's one of the great content creators right now, and he validated exactly what you're saying. So, Sharon, unbelievable performance here. I think, I'd match you up against Patty Mahomes any day. This was MVP level stuff.
Listing Mahomes.
Listing Mahomes. MVP level stuff. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon.
Appreciate you guys. And Eric, if you want to do that 3 seconds to 60-second workshop, we should do it for them.
Nope. No, thank you. All right. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it.
Yes, Eric wants to do that because I want to see it.
I do. Of course, I want to do that. If you guys want us to do that, let us know. Comment the word yes if you want Sharon and I to do a 3 to 60-second workshop. A lot of no's in the chat. Looks like they're, yeses. Here they go. Fantastic.
The president of R.E.A.C.H, follow him over at Sharon Srivatsa on Instagram.
One last thing.
Is a must follow.
I just have to say, Sharon, thank you so much for not playing that Jason Cassidy video. Finally, yes. I don't have to see that video on repeat. So thank you so much. Sorry, Jason. All right.
Incredible performance. Thank you, Sharon. We're going to go to Ken Pozak here in just moments. We're stacking up the content game. Sharon gave us high-level information on how to be effective and how to increase those shares on social. Ken is somebody who no one I've ever seen in our industry can compete with when it comes down to a local media company and building YouTube that speaks to his audience. Eric, just the other night, I was on one of Ken's lives, and my wife walks by, I'm on the couch, I'm watching his live on YouTube, and you just have thousands of people on these live videos that Ken shares with his community in Orlando. And on the live, you can tell these aren't agents. These are people who live in the community there. Hey, Ken, when's the Ritz residents coming? When's this coming? When's that coming? What's going on with this? They're all asking all these questions. My wife's like, what are you doing? I said, we're moving to Orlando, honey. We're going to Orlando. Ken has me convinced. Before we go to Ken, and Eric, you'll have an introduction for Ken. We have one message from our partners at PropStream.
Hello, agents. Look at your business. Now back to mine. Now back at your business.
No, I don't know who clogged that toilet.
Now back to mine. Sadly, it's not like mine, but If you stopped relying on outdated tools and started using PropStream, well, your business could thrive, like mine. Look down, back up, where are you? You're in an office, managing a pipeline full of pre-qualified leads that you found easily with PropStream. What's that in your hand? Back at me, it's a tablet showing detailed property data, off-market opportunities, and cash buyer lists. Look again. This data just closed the biggest deal of the year. While some agents are wasting time chasing dead ends, I'm over here, building my empire, one smart decision at a time. Because you see, anything is possible when you use PropStream.
PropStream is the most trusted provider of comprehensive real estate data nationwide. That QR code allows you to try it for free. Trial.propstreampro.com/BAM. Trial.propstreampro.com/BAM. Try it today. Eric, that clip that you were talking about, getting emails off of cold calls.
Yep.
That's just like PropStream 101, circle dialing. Hey, I made a promise to my client to connect with you, all the homeowners in there. How do you think we get that data, that information that I was sharing on that IG reel? I get the data from PropStream so I can speak to all of those homeowners. That was Alan the agent. Give it up for Alan_Spotlow. And of course, the BAM producer himself, Bobby. There he is, Bobby Kowecki.
The Old Spice guy.
The Old Spice Bobby, our producer of video at BAM. Maybe something more coming from Alan later on. All right, we've got Ken Pozak, and this one is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see the hard-hitting facts Ken Pozak brings to us. Eric,
yep.
What do you think?
Yes, our next Pro Bowler is one of the most sought after speakers in the real estate industry. No, he's not. Actually, yes, he is. When it comes to straight value, he's not like some motivator or some coach necessarily. He's simple, the GOAT of hyper-local content. He basically pioneered the strategy that so many agents are using today on YouTube and Instagram. But he took it a step further, Byron, and created an entire media company around his market that feeds him and his team hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of leads per year. If you want to create content that actually converts, pay close attention to this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Pozak. Ken, how about that intro, huh?
That was pretty good. Did ChatGPT write that for you?
I wrote that last night, not while I was watching your live. That's embarrassing that Byron sits around on his couch and watches your YouTube lives. I would have not admitted that on this.
I didn't comment. I stayed out of the comments. Ken, you are doing such a brilliant job, and I'm looking forward to taking some notes from your workshop here with us.
All right, Byron, let's get out of here. We're running out of time. Let's go.
Here we go. All right. Let's see, put it on the screen. There we go. All right, so I'm Ken Pozak from Orlando, Florida. I run the Pozak group here. We also do a few other things here, but this is my beautiful team. We've got about 33 agents and 17 folks on the operation side, videographers, editors, transaction coordinators, inside salespeople. And last year we sold about 520 houses for $300 million, about $8.5 million in GCI. And this year we've already sold 123 million, which is kind of cool. The biggest thing that's cool about this, though, is that so much of our business comes from content marketing and the community that we've built locally. We did well on YouTube, and then we started bringing it to Instagram and then newsletter. And so today I'm going to tell you some of the background secrets around how we do this, why we do this, and hopefully you guys take away a few nuggets along the way. The title today is like become the mayor of your town / hyperlocal first scale / stop sending your sphere recipe cards, however one you want to take it. But this is how it started. This was me 7 years ago on YouTube. It was my cell phone walking around trying to do builder tours and just figuring it out along the way. And basically, this is what my thumbnails look like. A lot of your thumbnails look like this today. That's okay. We all started somewhere. And so I got a little bit better along the way. This is what it looks like now, where our average YouTube video gets somewhere between 10 and 60,000 views. And it's all really hyper local stuff. It's not trying to get people to all over the country to watch our stuff. It's really just people that are interested in Orlando or hopefully live here in Orlando. And so over on Instagram, we've got 120,000 or so that follow our media company. And it's really kind of like a Trojan horse for our real estate company, the Pozak Group. And so let me just kind of back you up here a little bit. Why did I decide to go from just YouTube videos, which work and crush it, and then try to broaden my perspective a little bit? This is a handsome man named Ryan Reynolds. Maybe you know him from Deadpool or many other different movies. But what maybe a lot of people don't know is that he also owns Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, which he exited for like $1 billion. He owns a soccer team. He's got all these different things going on. But the most interesting thing to me that he owns is actually this company called Maximum Effort. It's his own media marketing and advertising company that he basically uses for the most part at his pleasure to take the companies that he owns, create content for them, and many times as quick as possible, jumping on pop culture trends that happen around the country, around the world, and then inserts his product placement along the way. And so stick with me here. You'll kind of understand how this comes back around to real estate and what we've built. This is another guy, you might have heard of him, Michael Bloomberg. He owns a company called Bloomberg Media, and I've heard this for 25 years. I know this guy owns this massive media company. He's worth $1 billion, but he owned, or sorry, $100 billion, a little bit different there. But here's what he actually sells. He sells the Bloomberg Terminal. And so the Bloomberg Terminal, if you don't know, it actually goes for about $32,000 per year is what it costs to have a subscription. And he has roughly 325,000 people that are subscribers that bring in about $10 billion in revenue every single year. Now, it's interesting because you think, oh, he's a media guy, but he actually sells this thing for a living. Like, this is how they make their money. I pulled from the Financial Times. It says, to many outside of business, Bloomberg's a media company, but that's little like describing Disney as a theme park operator or Google as an email provider. Out of Bloomberg's $12 billion in revenue, they only do about $500 million for media. The rest of it comes from his deal there, right? And so this is kind of like what I look at is like, how do I become a media company for my local market? Make sure that our ideal clients are following the media company, which is the million and a million to 2 million people or so in Central Florida that could potentially be my clients eventually. And then pull the Ryan Reynolds method where I'm doing product placement and I just happen to be the only advertiser. Where we're putting out our new listings, yes, using Sharon's method in terms of how to go viral and how to get people to watch our videos. But then back over there, just teaching people more around where they live or maybe where they might want to live. And so this is kind of what that's done for us. We've been able to interview the mayor. We brought on multiple billionaires on the podcast and on our channel. Universal uses me as a part of their media outlet. We get to do media day, and that's me riding on Hagrid's. And so it's kind of been able to take our brand, and instead of just being Ken the real estate agent, it's Ken the community connector, Ken the all things Orlando guy. And in that, a certain subset of those people are going to want to transact. They're going to want to buy or sell a house over the next so many years. And so that was my idea. How do I get roughly 400,000 or 500,000 people into our ecosystem? And then roughly the numbers work out to a certain subset, 10% call it, are going to move every year. And a certain subset of those are going to use us. And so far, it's been working. So let's talk about legacy media locally and try to figure out where you're going to grab some of these things. And I'm going to bring it back around how you can actually implement this. So thanks for sticking with me. But I look at like the Orlando Sentinel or even the Orlando Business Journal. These are great like legacy media. You probably have one of these in your town, like Austin Business Journal. You've got all these different places that you can get it. And they have in-house incredible staff researchers, but they're pretty typically not awesome at social media. Here's a really good example. So the Orlando Business Journal put out a post on this great article that they put. It said Orlando International Airport and Osceola have partnered with a deal to connect Orlando to South Korea. They posted on Instagram. It gets 45 likes and 19 shares. I take it and I sit down. I'm like, this is actually fantastic. And so I just sit in front of a camera and I say, what's going on? And you'll notice the hook up top. It's got the text hook you guys just talked about in the last with Sharon there. And I basically say, hey, listen, this is what's going on in Orlando. And here's what it means to homeowners. Here's what this means to our city. Here's what this means for jobs. Here's what it means to just people that care here. And we had 8,400 likes, almost 200,000 views, and like 4,000 shares within 2 days. Because we took what we're good at as real estate agents. Like, you're great at social media. This is something that you guys are watching this. You wouldn't be part of BAMX if you didn't care about social media or want to get better. Now, all of these other legacy folks, they're behind a paywall most of the time. They're trying to get people and subscribe in their own methods to sell their own products, but we get to sell real estate. And I think it's a really cool way to go about it. So let me back up a little bit in regards to YouTube. So why did I start on YouTube, and how do we use YouTube to use this media play? Well, for one, I want to show this off, and like why YouTube, if you haven't figured it out yet, is like the most powerful thing you can think through in regards to building a brand online. So this was what Snapshot, our biggest month usually on YouTube is around May. So I grabbed it for you. 22,000 hours of watch time in 1 month. Now, like 250,000 views, that's a ton of people watching at any given time. And so what YouTube does is it allows you to get really deep into someone's life. It gets Byron to watch from Naples or Connecticut or wherever he's at and spend time with you. And so that's the biggest thing. It replicates. I get to shoot a video once and then show up in thousands of people's homes over time. And there's really nothing that we've done that's been better for our business. So here's our current workflow. I use StreamYard. You're actually watching this BAM event, the Pro Bowl, on StreamYard. And so I use it as well. And I go live every Thursday night. And the reason I love StreamYard is because it allows me to go on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn actually is crushing it for us right now. And so you can go live one place, and then it actually records your video on a drive or in the cloud. It pulls off the audio and puts that somewhere else. And I go live and I just talk about the things that we just mentioned. I go on the Orlando Business Journal. I go basically spend 5 or 6 maybe an hour or so kind of going back through articles and going into permit data and going through media releases to figure out what can I tell my audience for this week that would be an interesting show to get in front of. And you might say, well, hey, I don't have a YouTube channel. Like, I've just started it. I've got 5 subscribers. Well, that's the beauty of StreamYard. You can go live on your Facebook page. You can go live on your LinkedIn, and your mom could join. And if she wants to throw up a comment, she can as well. And so the cool thing about it, regardless if you get anybody to show up and watch live, it stays on YouTube forever. And we get somewhere between, like, a bad show is like 4,000 views or so after a week. I've gotten some lives that go to 50, 60, 70,000 views. And it really is just going on here, clicking through on StreamYard. It's fantastic. So this is where I grab some of my stuff. You can sign up for your local Department of Transportation. You can literally just go to Google and type in your city and look at the news over the past week. So here I looked at Austin, Texas. I said, what's going on trending topic wise? Oh, what happened there? Lost my screen. There we go. Trending topic wise in Austin. I said, okay, what's going on here locally that I could talk about in real estate? And the first one right at the bottom, it says, these are the 10 most affordable US metros for renters, including #1 spots. That's going to surprise you. Happens to be Austin, Texas. Great. That's an awesome article. And so I can go live and I'll say, hey, everybody, here's what CNBC said about Austin, Texas, or here's what CNBC said about Orlando. And then what do you guys think? I give a little color commentary and then I move on to the next piece. I bring in comments and we're talking along the way, and that becomes the show. And so here's some other places. Permit data locally, you can go local media. Make sure you give credit, by the way. Some people that have kind of copied what we've done, I've heard has gotten in trouble where if they don't give credit, like according to the Orlando Business Journal, this is what they said. Like, if you do that, you're good. As long as you're not taking photos and some of the other stuff from their stuff, create your own story around it and your own narrative to make you the local expert. Also, you can sign up for media lists at city, county, state, and federal levels and kind of get emails that pop through. Here's what's going on with your governor. Here's what's going on with your mayor. And then you're going to kind of craft this local story. But here's where it actually gets a little bit more exciting for us in regards to how we create 10 to 15 pieces of content out of that one live stream. I go live over on Instagram or over on YouTube and all these other places. It stays on YouTube. And then we rip the audio off and we put it on Google Play. We put it on Spotify. We put it on Apple Podcasts. And so we throw a little bumper ad in the beginning. Hey, in today's show, you're going to hear 1, 2, and 3 news stories. I hope you enjoy it. And then we put it on our blog. We send it out to our newsletter. It's on our LinkedIn. It's all these different places. And then my team is going to take that hour-long live stream and pull out 3 to 5 different reels that they can edit down to make those into TikTok reels and that sort of thing. And that's really been our entire strategy. I go live once, and then what Jason Pantana says, we chop till we drop. And in that, we've been able to grow our newsletter to like 30 to 40,000 at this point. We've added 100,000 on Instagram, and we're getting leads every single day. So this is what our newsletter looks like. I throw like kind of the best of for the past week over on there, because I think that getting emails and staying consistently in front of them on both YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and in their email newsletter or email news box is really important. And if you're not like a huge fan or like, oh, newsletters, is that still a thing? I know Sharon just talked about his deal of the week email, but here's like some really good examples overall. You've got like, if you've ever heard of The Hustle by Sam Parr, sold for $27 million. It was an email newsletter. You've got Marketing Brew or Morning Brew, 5 Bullet Friday. There's all of these different newsletters that are crushing it today. So if you're not slowing down and saying, hey, listen, even if I don't crush video content, maybe I should consider an email newsletter. And so everybody in your sphere that you're putting through, whether it's open houses, telling them what's going on in your community in your own voice, makes you that local news, that local resource. Let's pop back over to YouTube. So then on Tuesday, so that Thursday I go live, Tuesday we post our newest videos, and you have to decide, do you want to go in the field and talk about what's going on, right? Or do you want to do a talking head like this? I've actually found that talking head just like this is totally fine. It works great. But if you get out in the field and show people what's going on, it's even better. So when you're talking, you're either doing a talking head like this, make sure you're adding some, this is A-roll, right? This is me talking at the camera, but adding in some of that B-roll, going around, getting sort of the new developments in the area. If you have a news story that you can talk about, bringing it back around to your community and being able to say, here's what's actually going on in our local community. Speaking of Eric, if you're still there, the Oppenheimer effect, I actually happen to use it in our talk today. So if you go back to Oppenheimer, it's 3 hours long. And every 2 seconds, you won't find a shot that lasts longer than 2 to 3 seconds. And so when you're going back editing, yes, you have your A-roll, you're talking to the camera, but your B-roll, it needs to be clipping back through, telling the story to have greater audience retention, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Say you don't have like a great camera, say you don't want to go get B-roll and you're a little nervous or you just don't understand it. There's so many resources out there that you can grab. So this is one I grabbed from Storyblocks. I use this a lot when I first started out. You can pay $29 a month or so, and you type in your city, Austin, Texas, Orlando, Dallas. There's creators in every one of these cities that will upload B-roll for you to use. And so say you have a new golf course coming, you just type golf, and then you can use the B-roll to add into your local video to make it seem like you're that expert, that you got a little bit better of a quality of production. A couple other things, some other behind the scenes. Thanks so much for saying that, Catherine, I think it was. Yeah, Catherine. Here's a really simple video structure when you are uploading to YouTube. And so I'm trying to pull out a couple things other than just, hey, have better thumbnails, have better titles. This is like simple video structure that I use on almost all of my talking head videos. I sit right here and I do an intro and an outro and then 1 to 8 videos or so that are only 20 to 45 seconds long. You guys don't have to script every single video that you do. You can sit down and say, hey, here's the 5 reasons why Orlando is poised to boom in 2025. Boom, that's your intro. Save it. Now you're on to the next thing. The number one reason I believe it is because the jobs report that just came out, and then you're using B-roll, and then you stop it and save it. And then you send this off to your editor and puts it all together, and or you're doing it yourself. Let's talk about that. Hiring, by the way. Some people say, I'm not good at editing. I don't have a huge budget. I grabbed this from Fiverr this morning. This guy, I'll be your Instagram reel editor with expertise in short film for $40. I wish this guy had an affiliate link. Anyways, premium video where you get multiple edits is $40. His basic like $15. So for me, what I did was I edited everything myself. I wanted to try it. They were horrible. But then eventually I had a closing or 2 from YouTube, and I decided, okay, I'm going to hire an editor from Upwork. And from that, I said, she was like, lived in Nebraska. I think I paid her $50 per video to edit, kind of the way that I just showed you guys. And so from there, it became, she did my next 100 videos or so from afar. And then I hired somebody local to follow me around with as a videographer. And then now, as you look up, we've got 3 videographers on staff. And so I think you lead with revenue, do the best that you can, find the best places in order to get folks to help you with your content and become that local expert. So what's working for us? Over on YouTube, these are more of our Tuesday videos up top, and then our lives down below. 3 lesser known, like basically it's like moving to, living in content and listing tours combined. Those seem to be the best for us. You can see here some of our biggest ones are area tours, Lake Nona, Orlando's Living Lab, 21,000 views. Local luxury tours are getting 100,000 views or so. And then down below, the past live streams, that bottom left one there, it's new Florida bills that affect homeowners. I got 50,000 views on a 40-minute long video. People think, oh, short form is where it's at. Well, I got 40 minutes. People spent a lot of time hanging out with me to hear how our new Florida bills were going to affect homeowners. So if you didn't get a little aha there, and by the way, we're constantly giving sponsorships. By the way, this is what we do for our clients all the time. We are in the know. If you want to live in Orlando or already here, we want to be your real estate resource of choice. It's not just, I'm a real estate agent, I sell a lot of houses, you should use me. It's, I'm a knowledge broker in Orlando. And if you don't have some sort of like reason why you believe that would be huge, it is. What else is working for us? If you've ever checked out Puberty online, they got 40 million followers. And this is a really easy one if you're not on video, like maybe you're not really into doing video right away, but this is an easy way for you to do. So we grab their sort of exact same style and we use it for our real estate. We use it for our news stories. This is an interesting one from like Florida Department of Transportation, not a very sexy topic, right? But people care about road development and road and traffic and all the other kind of crazy stuff. And so we put this Puberty style thing together, and you can look here, got 3,100 likes, and it was sent out by 1,000 different people because, like Sharon said, people want to seem smart. And so if you know something that other people don't know, they're going to share that kind of thing. And that's how we've been able to grow quite a bit. All right, 2 rules, and we're going to wrap up here. I don't know where I'm at on time. Anybody have a timer for me? All right, 2 rules here. Be consistent. When I first started, guys, I didn't have 10 to 15 pieces of content every single week. Now we're putting out hundreds of pieces of content a month, but I just started with 1 video a week. I just went out in the community, I shot a video, I edited the video, and then I just got a little bit better. And then eventually we turned into the blogs and the newsletters and all the other things. But whatever you decide to do, grab one thing that you decide in 2025, I'm going to be really consistent with this one thing, and then watch your business grow. The second thing is analyze and improve. The amazing thing about YouTube and Instagram is they give you so much data for free. You can go back and say, if I've got a 10-minute long video on YouTube and people are only watching 30 seconds and then bouncing, what did I do wrong? Like, let me go back and see, what did I say in the first 30 seconds? And then if you're putting out a 10-minute video, people are watching 6 minutes of that. That's pretty darn good. What is it that I did in this video that caused people to watch it for so long? I give you the example of the whole homeowner thing, right? What's going on in Florida, and people 50,000 views on a very okay topic. And so diving back in, how do I do more of that allows you to continue to get a little bit better every single week. So what should you do first? You should make some bad videos. You should get out there and just create, because most likely, most people are watching anyways. So if you have 100 people see your first bad video, who cares? Eventually you get a little bit better and you get more reach. And eventually you're reaching your city by becoming that local media mayor. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks, guys.
Amazing work.
Amazing, Ken. Ken Pozak on Instagram, at Ken Pozak. That's Instagram. That's YouTube. If you're getting started on building the media company that's going to back your real estate business, like what Ken has done, invest 20, 30, 40 hours on just watching what Ken does. That's what I do. I watch what Ken does. And I had a question in here, Ken. It was in the comments earlier. Somebody said, does it make sense to start YouTube if you don't live in a Florida or a Texas? It absolutely makes sense.
Really does. Yeah. I mean, a friend of ours on here, Kyle Talbot, I know you guys have covered him in the past. He lives in Kansas City. Who wants to move to Kansas City? No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, he's crushing it in Kansas City, right? YouTube, Instagram, because people, I mean, I've got a friend, Paul Wolford, up in Detroit. He's just telling the news, right? That people want to be a fan of where they live most times. And so if you can tell them from an interesting story, then they get to be hype about the city they live in instead of just dreaming of like, I wish it was like Byron living in Naples. You know, that must be cool. But if you can be the hype man from the city, it's pretty cool.
Well, here's the interesting thing. And I've done local radio for Connecticut for the last 9+ years for the Connecticut team. What you're doing on live is the same thing that works on traditional radio. The same thing will work for all of your local YouTube, even if you're small. These are small towns that I'm talking about in Connecticut. What you do on your YouTube live is you create the conversation that's already being published in local legacy media, and you just have to open the conversation. So some people in the comments, and this is where it just drives engagement on Ken's live YouTubes, the comments would be like, I don't like them building that there, or when is it going to be done? I'm so excited. And the comments go back and forth on the debate. Ken's hosting the party, and the content primarily is already written for Ken. Now Ken's at the level where he's getting some inside baseball. Hey, that story was written. I know the developer. I reached out to him. He was able to tell me this. She was able to share this bit of information. He's sharing a little bit inside baseball, and it just starts snowballing everything that he's building.
You got it.
Nothing to add there, Byron. Fantastic work, Ken.
At Ken Pozak on IG. Make sure you follow him, connect with him, send him a DM. The best in the business, Ken Pozak. All right, you are officially now entering the halftime show of BAM Pro Bowl 2. When we come back from halftime, which stick around because this halftime show is unlike any other. I mean, think back in the day, my favorite Super Bowl halftime show, Michael Jackson, but think maybe Eric a la, Janet Jackson here. Like some crazy stuff's going to happen on this halftime show. You want to stay around for that. When we come out of halftime, we have Tina Cole from EXP, and we have Jared James from Jared James Today finishing it off. This is going to be an electric finish for BAM Pro Bowl. But remember Alan, Eric, we have a little report in from him.
We do. Let's check in with Alan after what seems to be a brutal first half. Alan, a little trouble there in the first half of the showing. Did you have some problems with the lockbox? What happened there?
Oh, Eric, wasn't so much the lockbox. That's a simple old lockbox. 4 digits there, 4 digits everywhere. You know how that goes. More so my clients hovering over my shoulder. You get a little slippery lockbox. You get the ice going, the wind. They weren't really thrilled that I brought a blowtorch, but that's neither here nor there.
And once you got in the house, is that kind of when you started to settle in?
I'm confident I can close this up with ease after the showing. No pressure here.
And your clients, the buyers, did they like the house? How are they feeling about you so far during the showing?
Well, Eric, I'll tell you right now, the husband never said a damn word. They were in and out of there in about 90 seconds. We're talking 5,000 square feet. I mean, this is a really nice house. They're actually talking in the driveway now. I'm optimistic they're going to come back to me with good news.
Tell me about your rapport with them. Is there anything you're looking to fix or build upon in the second half of showings?
Eric, I'll tell you right now, this is nothing that I haven't prepared for in the past. Had the listing agent's number, called them, got shot down real quick. They asked about the school district. And as always, I told them exactly what schools were good and exactly what schools were bad. The rest, they wood burning, gas fireplace. Who really cares, right? Took a 50-50 shot there. Did not land. But, I'm pretty confident in the second half. I'm just going to leave the rest up to God.
Thanks, Alan. Now back to the Pro Bowl.
Tough first half for Alan. You can go support him on IG at Alan_Spotlow. Give him some encouragement. He seems like he's got the right plan for the second half, and things can turn around at any moment.
I like how he told his clients, Byron, exactly which schools were bad, which schools were good. He had no idea. Fire, is it wood burning, is it gas? He said he flipped the coin. That's how you sell real estate right there, buddy.
Yeah, I'll be betting on the coin flip come Sunday. I don't know if I would want to flip the coin in my business. Follow Alan at Alan_Spotlow. We've got a message here. This is a really important halftime message, Eric. This is somebody who is going to maybe help Alan, motivate Alan to move forward into that second half. Yeah. And we have a huge announcement after this.
We do.
Message.
So Alan needs a little motivation, and that is why we brought in the #1 motivational coach, the #1 actual football coach, the #1 speaker, the #1 guru in real estate history. Ladies and gentlemen, to fire us up for halftime, Guy Fontaine.
It's Guy Fontaine here, coming to you from a private jet, Gulfstream G7000, the best jet on the market. Where are you coming from? Because if it's not a Gulfstream G7000, I think you got to do better. I've done 167 billion this year, and it's February 5th. If you haven't done that, you need to do better. The folks at BAM told me to come on here in your little halftime festivity show and give you some inspiration and pump your tires. Well, I don't work at a gas station, so I'm not going to do either of those things. We lack attention to detail. When you don't listen to Guy, you get fried. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that, but if you don't listen to Guy, you get fried. Do you want me to tell you again? If you don't listen to Guy, you get fried. So do you want to either listen to Guy or get fried? Or sell fries while you're pumping tires at the gas station? We need more attention to detail. We can learn a lot from the game of football and their playbook and how to get it to the end zone. Get the ball to the end zone. Get the business to the end zone. It's not too hard. Attention to detail. Remember those words. My favorite NFLer, Michael Jordan, once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That rings true to me, folks. If you don't listen to Guy, you get fried.
I mean,
I'm pumped up. I can run through a brick wall after listening to Guy Fontaine, and it's he raises the bar. I do see Tina Cole in the green room. I think she's gonna clean up anything Guy Fontaine missed. I know she is. She's one of the great follows on Instagram. And before we get to Tina, now that I'm motivated and pumped up from Alan's hard first half and Guy's inspiring message, we have a major announcement to make. Eric.
Yes, we do, Byron. We have an enormous announcement here. We have officially moved all of our BAMX members in the membership over to the school platform. So Byron, if you want to walk us through this, and Bobby, we could pull it up and show everyone what just happened with our BAMX membership, joining the #1 education platform in the game. This is absolutely amazing for our members.
Yeah, BAMX right now, over 2,400 members since we launched. We did a soft launch with members here in just the past week, migrating over to School. School's the #1 education and community platform in the world on the internet. If you were on the old BAMX platform and now you've already migrated over with the soft launch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything's easier to find. Going over to the Classroom tab, there's the community page. But if we go over to the Classroom tab, I feel like I'm Troy Aikman right now, right? showing you the plays. We go into the Classroom tab, everything that you love from BAMX, instead of coming in an email or in a PDF, is right here. Weekly content drop every single week, right in your BAMX platform. Easy to click and download right inside the platform. All those email scripts, stuff like Sharon was talking about earlier. As you continue to scroll down on that weekly content trip, you get those email scripts, those video scripts, and as well, that comes to you every single week. We store up social media templates, the evergreen stuff, right there where you see on the left third box, video scripts, client emails, blog posts. Every Monday through Thursday, we give you the daily market data, the slides and the articles that you need to communicate with your clients. This is just from today. You scroll through today, we've got today's slides and content already uploaded when we go live every Monday through Thursday, 9:30 on the East Coast. This is every single day. Nobody in the business puts more data and information at your fingertips than BAMX. We sift through all of the BS so you don't have to. Along with that, we have 30 plus courses uploaded in BAMX. I see people on the internet selling one course for more than what BAMX costs. We're not here to rip you off. We're here to sift through the BS so you can be effective in your business. Over 30 plus courses. Every replay. I saw a question here today. Is this event here going to be replayed? Yes, it'll be uploaded into BAMX. So BAMX members get access to that. BAMX now on School. Soft launched last week for the BAMX members that currently exist. They've started to migrate over. If you're a current BAMX member, check your email or email BAMX at nowbam.com to get a white glove service onboarding over to School. But we have something, Eric, for everybody who's not a BAMX member.
Yes. Yes, we do. So just to clarify, every single BAMX member every week gets 3 social media templates to brand and customize, 2 video scripts, 1 email script, and 1 blog, on top of all of the courses and trainings, our office hour sessions where we actually audit your content, or where Byron comes on and talks about agent strategy. It is a extremely valuable membership and community. The discussions going on a daily basis. We're always evolving, Byron. So if someone says, hey, make a course on this, make a training on this, or teach me how to do ManyChat, for example, the chat bots that are always in my Instagrams that probably a lot of you came from, or Sharon, for example. We have all of that uploaded to BAMX, plus every single webinar or event that we've ever done in the history of BAM is uploaded to BAMX. So again, like you said, a lot of people saying, how do I watch the replay of this? You do it in BAMX.
Now, weekly social media templates, weekly video scripts, blogs, emails, 30 plus on-demand courses, daily, Monday through Thursday, real estate marketing charts that you can share and the information that you need to share, sound educated about the economy, a free cash offer platform. That alone is a $2,400 value. And BAMX is way more affordable than that. Live office hour workshops. We're going to be doing role playing coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing Instagram audits as a community. This team, BAM, when we launched BAMX, we said, you know what? Courses are one thing. Somebody should get 30 plus courses for the price of one, as well as the content already done for them. And so right now, Eric has made this promise. The first 50 BAMX members
Yes.
Sign up today. The first 50 new members today are going to get a one-on-one Instagram audit with Eric.
And I'm not talking where you just send me your Instagram and I write you a little report. I'm talking where you actually sit on a Zoom like Byron and myself with me right now for 30 minutes, where I'm going to actually audit your Instagram, talk about how to set up your profile, comb through your entire content. So this is an exclusive offer for the first 50 people to sign up only here for the annuals only.
So this is for annual only. The first 50 annual signups are going to get a one-on-one Instagram audit with Eric on top of all the benefits we just described in BAMX. Everybody else who signs up today is going to get access, and including the first 50, for a group mastermind with myself and Eric. So first 50 QR code right in front of you, or skool.com, skool.com/BAMX. Once the QR code goes away, so many BAMX members already utilizing the content in their day-to-day to win listings, to win more business. Skool.com/BAMX, or the QR code in front of you. First 50 today that sign up annually, one-on-one Instagram audit with Eric. Everybody who signs up today, mastermind with myself and Eric, and you'll get instant access to things like the replay to this and our workshops that we do almost every single week or every other week, live workshops in the BAMX platform. We have an Instagram workshop coming up and a live role play coming up. BAMX over now officially on Skool, sharing that announcement here during the halftime with all of you. Eric.
Yes. And as you're signing up, the only people that are going to get the one-on-one audits are people that use the annual. So after you put in your information, make sure you toggle over to the annual. It's an absolute no-brainer. Sign up for that, and then you will be in the running for the audits.
All right. And now let's get into the second half here of the show. We've got 2 speakers remaining and an after party. Up next, and I'm going to let you introduce her, Eric. This is somebody who I know you're going to get into your introduction, somebody who I've been following closely online. She speaks, I listen. She's brilliant the way she breaks down business. This is a true operator. This is a pro. This is somebody who knows her stuff inside and out. It's time now to get the notes back out and take a ton of notes as we go with Tina Call and her talk here with all of us today. So Eric, what do you want to share about Tina?
So I am so excited to introduce Tina because she actually is the #1 listened to episode on the R.E.A.C.H podcast that Matt Leonetti started in 2021, which is kind of like the foundation of the media company. So shout out Tina for that. Here's an actual proper introduction too. With over 24 years of experience, this speaker leads the #1 real estate team in Raleigh, North Carolina, ranks in the top 5 of 90,000 agents at eXp Realty. Byron, that's right. We do have representation here. We have eXp Realty in the house. She's been featured on HGTV as a TEDx speaker and the founder of Access Global, a community of over 1,200 agents. Not only that, but like I said, she has the most views ever on the R.E.A.C.H podcast. She's shared the stage with legends like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Ryan Serhant, and today she's here to drop some knowledge. Please join me in welcoming Tina Call for the 6 types of working genius. Tina, it's so great to see you again.
Can I get that annual membership? I can't sign up because I'm doing this.
Yes, I'll send it to you afterwards.
Tina. We'll get you signed up, and we'll count you as number 51. Eric owes you that anyway.
Exactly.
That's right. I'm in. I love it.
All right, Tina, fire away.
All right, good. Well, I'm really, really, really excited to do this. And I got to make sure that I can share my screen. Yes, I can. All right, guys. So I'm going to go fast because I think I have 20, 30 minutes. I'm not sure, but Working Genius has changed my life. I've become a facilitator of Working Genius. 2.5 years ago, I got my license to facilitate this assessment and then help teams and businesses map out their staff. And it's worked even for families. So the reason that I needed to discover the Working Genius, so that I'm glad that I did, is that I was having trouble hiring assistants. And I don't know if, a lot of you on here, whether you're a solo agent and you have an admin, 1 or 2 admin, or you're a team leader, or you're an operator of any other business, hiring people to work with you typically gets hard because we like to hire people just like us that we hit it off with. And the other problem that I was having is A lot of people are technically trained to do a great job in a certain, business or task, but that doesn't bring them joy. So when I started to hire assistants that were just like me, people who were smart, they were capable, but I started to figure out that they had the same weaknesses I did. And one of my major weaknesses is execution. Now, yes, I've built a big business, but that's because of the amazing people around me. So I was hiring people like me who were big thinkers and idea people sitting way up here. But the result is that I wasn't getting things finished. We had a lot of ideas. The ideas ended up in the ideas cemetery, and frustration and resentment starts to build. And so thank God for my operations manager. She came to me one day and she said, Tina, I think I found the reason that we're struggling with hiring, people that are right for these roles. And she said, you've got to take this assessment. Let's see what you are. I took the assessment, didn't really understand it, but I came out as an inventor discerner. And so when I assessed everybody in our business, all of a sudden we started to see gaps, and it just clicked. So today I want to show you guys how not only we can help you lead better, but self-discovery, understanding your strengths and weaknesses. And the bigger one is the joy. Everybody wants to wake up and jump out of bed and go to work and go, man, I love what I'm doing at work. And so people don't struggle because they lack talent. They struggle because they're in the wrong role. So right person, right seat is what we're looking for. My company runs on EOS. For those of you that have never read the book Traction, definitely read it. It's an amazing book, and that's how we operate. So what Working Genius shows us is that we have natural strengths, which are our geniuses, and then all of us have natural frustrations. And so again, we're looking for joy, energy, productivity. And when you align with your genius at work, it's rocket fuel. And so, and the thing is, you can use this in any team environment at all. Church, family, you're going on vacation and you're grouping with a few other families, you can absolutely use this. So I'm going to share my screen real quick so I can show you guys. Oh, there we go. All right, can you guys see my screen? Because I can't see you guys anymore. So can somebody unmute and say, yes, I hope you guys can see this. Brian, Eric, help me out here. Can they see me?
You are good. You are good to go.
Okay, all right, cool. So from chaos to clarity, that's what we want to look at right now. Life is chaotic when you cannot figure out what brings you joy and what brings your people joy. So Working Genius matters because everybody craves to be seen, to be understood, to be wanted. And so understanding yourself and the people around you creates this environment of success. So we're going to walk through this today. And you guys, hopefully, I've done this now virtually without you guys taking your genius about 10 times. So we're still testing it. But what we're finding is that 90% of you are actually getting your genius. So I hope that you guys are sitting down and you've got a piece of paper and you can start working through this with me. So let's see. I want you guys on your paper to write down at the top of the paper, Working Genius. Now, this is going to be the area of genius that comes naturally to me and gives me joy and energy. So I want you guys to think of it this way. You're holding a thermos, right? You've got a thermos. You put your coffee in this thermos. It's going to hold the heat for a lot longer than you pouring a cup of coffee, right, into a regular ceramic mug. It's going to hold its temperature for a while, but eventually that temperature is going to be fleeting. Now imagine pouring a cup of coffee into a styrofoam cup with a hole at the bottom. Boom, gone. That heat is gone. And so this is the three categories. Working Genius is going to hold that heat, that joy, that excitement, that fulfillment forever. You would do this job, this work for free if you needed to, because you love it so much. Your working frustration is that styrofoam cup. I want you to focus on those two today. Forget the working competency, which is in the middle, meaning you can operate fairly well here. You don't hate it, you don't love it, but eventually you'll get burned out. We're going to focus on when I'm reading these different individual letters, I want you guys to go, yes, that is me. That is the thermos. I could do it for the rest of my life. And I'm going to put that letter in my Working Genius. At the bottom of your page, you're going to put your working frustration. When you listen to me describing a letter that you go, absolutely hate it, never want to do that work. For me, it's admin work, Excel spreadsheets. I know immediately that letter is going to go into my working frustration. So we've got two in our genius, 2 in our frustration. The last 2 of the 6, the last 2 will go in the middle. So let's focus on what brings me joy and what brings me frustration. All right. So we're going to talk about the first one, which is wonder. This is the hardest one to identify, because a lot of times people like this don't feel like this is a genius, but it absolutely is. Pat Lencioni wrote the book, The 6 Levels of Working Genius. And so in the book, he describes work as a 6-letter word. And when you're doing work, let's say you're going to do an event and you've got to have, people galvanizing the event, people helping to set up tables. Let's say it's a church, banquet you're going to have. There's all these different roles to start. And so the first person that we start with in the room when we're trying to plan the event is the person with wonder. Everything starts here. So people like this easily find themselves losing themselves in observing the world. They're sort of naturally observing everything. And these people have the propensity to say, gosh, my head's always in the clouds. You can just get lost looking out the window. My husband is this. And so he's always pondering things. So they constantly ask, what if? They're exploring the deeper possibilities. They enjoy big thinking. So more than execution, they're just enjoying the possibility. They spot gaps and missing opportunities, things they can sort of elevate. And they feel most energized when they're questioning and reflecting before acting. So on my real estate team, knowing exactly who my people are that have wonder, I naturally gravitate to them to be like, hey, Ashley, what do you think this team needs? What do you think we're missing? Where do you see the gaps? Because these people are really good observers of the environment. Now, they don't have all the solutions, but they know what's missing. So everything starts here, okay? This is where everything starts. So if you feel like this is you, I want you to put wonder in your genius. If you feel like these types of people frustrate you, the people that are always raising their hand and asking a lot of questions, and they're always taking us back really high level, then it might be your frustration, or you can wait and we'll go over each one of these quickly again. Now, for wonder, not ideal for high pressure, transaction heavy roles like inside sales. These people are not going to be great in those roles. Transaction coordination, high volume lead conversion. They need space to think and reflect and innovate. So they can sort of feel like a generalist, like you're good at a lot of things, but you're not sure what your mastery is. And when you're faced with too many options, you just can't decide which direction to go. And you'll tend to say, man, I have so many options. Can somebody just tell me which way I need to go? And then I'll do it. They crave consideration. So if you say to a person with wonder, if somebody with wonder comes to me and says, hey, have you ever thought about this? And I go, well, who cares about that? It crushes them. And so they're crushed by being dismissed. They're crushed by you saying, who cares, to their pondering and their ideas. And you need to know this when you're working with people, because again, we're all different humans. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to feel like we're contributing. So that is wonder. If that is you, put it down on the paper. You are very valuable to us in a work environment. Number 2, so we've got widget, widget is all 6 of them. So I is next, invention. So coming up with new ideas, new solutions to any problem. So basically these people have ideas coming out of thin air all day long, even when they're not needed. And so what these people tend to think and say is, oh, hey, I've got an idea, or hey, what about if we do this? They're looking for solutions to problems. You say problem, they're like, I can solve it. And so they're really, really, a lot of real estate agents are great inventors. And it's not invention like like I just created the wheel, potentially, but it's more like solution-based also, right? Invention can even be that you're an interior designer, you're very creative, and you can invent a space or reinvent a space with your eyes. So it's not just that you're some genius that's going to invent the next, the light bulb. It's that you're always looking to solve problems. And so please let me come up with a solution to that. And how I also think of it is, if I invited, Brian and Eric to a meeting and I said, hey, we're going to get a whiteboard and we're going to come up with new ideas. Some people, that freaks them out. They're like, I don't want to be in that room. I can't think of ideas, but I can poke holes in them, or I can execute the idea, but I can't come up with the idea. So if this frustrates you, put it at your bottom. They're wonderful in roles that involve innovation, creativity, and problem solving. Now, they're not ideal for repetitive tasks and following strict processes. They want to think outside the box. Do not put them in a box. They do not like handling compliance or heavy paperwork or administration details. That is me. So I crave freedom. Do not tell me how things have to be done, because I'll probably find a different way around it 3 different times. And again, we're crushed by constraints. So if your invention and you're like, absolutely, that's me, stick it in your working genius. If you know that's absolutely not you, put it in frustrations. If it might be you and might not be you, just leave it. Just leave it alone. It'll probably end up in the middle. The next one. This one's a really fun one because we typically call these people the Debbie Downers. I am one of them. So I'm an ID. Discernment is using your instinct, your gut intuition, and you have uncanny judgment to evaluate and assess ideas or plans without a lot of information. And so the reason I say it could be a Debbie Downer is because my husband comes to me with his wondering and his pondering all the time. And he might say, oh, I have this idea of this. And I'll go, it's not going to work. And he's like, what do you mean it's not going to work? I'm like, it's not going to work. I already see it in my head. My gut tells me. So I lead life saying my gut tells me this person is not a great person, or I'm not vibing with this situation. Or if I'm going to go show this house, ooh, I get a really bad feeling walking into this house. It's a very feeling-based intuition, puzzle solving thing that you cannot explain. So when people say, hey, how did you land on that answer? Prove it. You go, just trust me. I know. I can't explain it. It's just a weird, freaky thing. So people with this genius tend to say, now that's a great idea when they hear it, because they see the puzzle in their head and they go, yes, that's going to work. I'm following my gut. Or sorry, this isn't going to work. Or I think you're onto something. Keep going. I think I know what we need to change. Or trust me, I just know. You want people like this in a room with your wanderers and your inventors, because they're listening and they're seeing what kind of ideas you're coming up with, and they're poking all the holes in it. They've got great discernment. So where they're wonderful in roles where they're making logical decisions, and giving advice is key, like a consultant, a judge, or an editor. If you I have very many people on my team that have discernment, and they love to edit documents and go through and find the issues, you know, and that's another thing discerners love to do. So if you're a discerner, stick it in your your genius. If this is like, I don't follow my gut, I don't even have a gut. In fact, my mother-in-law said to me, and this is how I thought this assessment was accurate, I don't have a gut. And it kind of took me by surprise. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a gut? I've followed my gut my whole life. She goes, I don't have a gut. If I meet someone, I like them, or if you tell me they're a bad person, I won't like them, but I like everyone and I don't have a gut. So I thought that was very interesting. Now, discernment, not ideal for high pressure cold calling, aggressive prospecting, roles that require rapid decision-making without time for reflection. And then they're highly structured environments with no room for intuitive judgment. They crave trust. If you have a discerner on your team that's a partner in business, and you don't trust them, and you ask them to prove their work or show their work, they are not going to be happy with you. So if you're married to someone with this, I promise you they're not crushing your dreams. There's a sense that they have that your idea is not going to work. And most of the time they happen to be right. Not always, but they just have great discernment. So you want this in an organization. A lot of leadership people have really good discernment. So that is your D. All right, the next one, galvanizing. So these are the people that end up being your team leaders that are at the front of the room. Think of Tony Robbins, people that are rallying, organizing, recruiting, inspiring people to take action around ideas and projects. These are the people, if you go on vacation with them, and let's say you have a 9 a.m., everyone in the Airbnb has to be somewhere at 9 a.m. We're going on an adventure. These are the people knocking on the bedroom door. Hey, come on, you guys, hurry up. Come on, we got to get ready. Rallying the troops. Every family has one. And so in an office environment, these people tend to say, come on, everybody, this is a huge opportunity. We have to do it. They're gathering people and rallying them. Are we on board with making this offer? If you're an agent with galvanizing, you're pushing, you're motivating, you're inspiring, or you're saying, do you understand why we need to do this? It's so important. These people cannot hide their excitement. They will run through a wall to get something done. They can't sit still. They cannot sit still because they're just needing momentum. These are the agents that every 2 or 3 years they have to change brokerages because they need something new and exciting, right? They need a new adventure. And so, and it's very common. You see that, and typically it is your galvanizer. So they're great in roles where they're energizing, motivating, like a coach, a team leader, a sales manager. You want to make sure when you give them their assessment, they have a G attached to them. Now, they are not ideal for back office work with little team interaction. You do not want to lock these people in a closet. They don't like long, tedious administrative tasks that don't require engagement or high levels of detail. I had a team leader that I coached, and she said she fired her sales manager because they were a galvanizer, but she was really mad at him because he didn't do the paperwork and the follow-up that she thought that he needed to be really good at. And ever since she fired him, the team sort of, kind of went sideways because he was the energy and the enthusiasm and the excitement. So when you understand this about your people and you know what fills their cup, you can bring in people that fill in their gaps. She could have easily got him an assistant and let him stay in his genius zone while his frustration was being achieved by somebody else, and he had that support. So if you're a galvanizer, stick it in your genius. That means you want to be that coach, that motivator, that inspirer. If you're like, hell no, I want to be in the back of the room, don't even look at me, I don't want eyes on me, and I don't want to motivate people, probably at your bottom. If you're like, I'll do it, but it doesn't bring me joy, I don't have to do it all the time, that's me. I'm right in the middle. It doesn't bring me joy, but I'm not mad at it, so I put mine is right in the middle. All right, 2 more, guys. Enablement, providing people with support and assistance for projects and tasks. These people literally get off on helping other people. Yes, there are people like that. Not for what's in it for me. Hey, well, if I do this thing, what do I get first? They never think that way. They're actually looking at the environment, and they know what you need before you know that you need it. And so they are the genius of galvanizing. The galvanizers look for enablement type people. They actually say, hey, we're having this, bake sale at the church. Who's going to help me set up the tables? Oh, I'll help you do that. That would not be me. I'd go, yeah, I don't know. I'm through the idea stage, so I'm kind of bored. What the example that I give is if you're in a gymnasium and watching your son or daughter's basketball game and everybody's done at the end and you're walking to your car and you see everybody stacking chairs, you're pulled and you feel guilty if you don't go help stack chairs. I'm the type of person that I go, peace out, everyone. Great game. I got things to do. So it's at my bottom. E is at my bottom, but I love helping people when I'm solving ideas and when I'm discerning, poking holes. That's how I contribute. That's how I give back to people. I love to poke holes in their business and coach and mentor them that way. But I'm not one that's going to go build wells in foreign countries. It made me feel a little selfish when I read this, but this is just the reality. So these people, you want as many of them in your organization as possible. They're team players. They jump in. They're always there to support. The biggest thing that they're great in is customer service, human resources, and teachers. Guys and gals that have enablement make great spouses. They make great supporters. They make great realtors. They really do, because you truly have a sense of helping these people. Now, they're not ideal for roles that require no or pushing back on clients. They hate cold calling. They hate it. It's a rejection. They can't help you if you reject them. So they hate high pressure sales environments. They crave appreciation. They just want to know that you care, that you tap them on the back and say, I saw you help that person. Thank you for helping me. They are crushed by being overlooked. So if you have these really helpful people in your environment and you don't pull them aside and buy them gifts and really show them appreciation, they end up getting really resentful. So it's not that they're, need that acknowledgement. It's just that is their joy, and you're stealing their joy when you don't ask them for help. And then you're stealing their joy when you don't give them acknowledgement. All right, last but not least, my company had major gaps in tenacity on my admin staff and my leadership staff. And so we had lots of ideas. We were always innovating. We were always poking holes. And we had pretty good direction the last 15 or 24 years in the business. But we would hit this low tenacity piece because I didn't have that tenacity. So I found people like me. These people get satisfaction by pushing projects, pushing tasks through to the finish line. The joy comes from, look what I completed today. They love crossing things off that list. They wake up with lists. They can't go to bed if something is left undone. If there's a dish in the sink, it's going to keep them awake. They got to go take the dish and put it, in the dishwasher. So they'll say things like, look how much I accomplished today. Hey, did we hit that deadline? Or we will hit that deadline. Or here, let me do it. These are the people that will literally take something out of your hands and they will do it for you because they know it's going to get done, and get done right. So they're perfect in disciplined roles like operations managers, project coordinators, accountants, TC roles. All my TCs are TDs, TEs. They like to get stuff done. They crave clarity. They hate ambiguity. So perfect example is I had an agent on my team that was a W, right? She's like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. She was part of the mentorship program. My operations manager is a TD. She's like, what do you mean we'll cross that bridge when we get there? I need a checklist. Like, how are you going to accomplish this thing? And they butt heads a little bit until we reminded them where they came from, where their geniuses work, and what they needed to, what they craved. And they both sat down and had a conversation. And Ashley, the W, gave her a few steps, which made our operations manager feel a lot better. So when you know your people and you know what drives them, you can put them in places, or they feel seen. When you go to a tenacity person, you're like, please, can you help me get this project done? It's amazing. All right. They're not ideal for brainstorming, vision setting. They don't want to be in the beginning of the meetings of the ideation. They rather you tell them, call me when you guys figure it out and I'll get that job done. So they want that clarity and they are crushed by ambiguity. So I hope this, you've got your paper now and you've got your two geniuses, your two frustrations. The last two will be your middle, which is your competency. This graph right here will kind of help you see that everything in life, in business, in idea making starts with the altitude of these geniuses. So the wonder are way up here. If we're flying a plane, we're way 30,000 feet above when we're ideating. And so you start there in that ideation phase, the WIs. The wonder asks a question. The inventor wants to solve it. The discerner then wants to poke holes in it. The galvanizer says, what are we doing? And I'll gather the troops. The E is the troops. They're helping the mission move forward, and T's are implementing and landing the plane. So when you think about that flight, we're way up here and then we're way down here. If we're in a meeting and we're all in ideation mode, and then the T's come in and they go, how are we going to do this project? And you're like, no, we're here. We're in ideation. There's 3 phases of work. Then we can silence those people until we're ready for them. I hope that makes sense really quickly. And last but not least, the working genius widget, it works like gears. So when your organization has all these people working in the same workflow from ideation to activation to implementation, and you don't miss the steps, you're going to see that everything's going to work beautifully. So I'm going to stop sharing real quick because that is all I have for you guys.
Tina Call from Raleigh, North Carolina. Second half of the event, just bringing absolute fire. Tina, this is the reason why a mind like yours is top 5 out of 90,000 plus and growing EXP Realty agents. I'm so impressed with what you've shared, and I love the whole thing. Thank you so much, Tina.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I hope it was helpful.
Very helpful. That's unlike any talk we've ever had for our BAM audience. So I really appreciate that. And everyone, go back to the R.E.A.C.H podcast with Tina. 40,000 views on that thing. So Tina, thank you so much for sharing this with our audience. Really appreciate it.
Tina's a true professional. She knows how to run, operate business. Tina_Call, CAUL, Tina_CAUL on Instagram. Connect with Tina over there. Thank you, Tina. Awesome deal with Tina. We still have, if you can believe it, if you've been with us since noon Eastern, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, say I've been here from the start. Thousands of you have been in and out of the BAM Pro Bowl 2. I want to know who's been with us from the start, from kickoff at noon Eastern, at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We still, unbelievably, have Jared James in just a couple of moments, Eric. First, after the halftime show, I want to mention to current BAMX members who are saying, oh my gosh, should I cancel and get back into BAMX just to get the Instagram audit with Eric? Guys, don't do that. Don't do that, because most of you are grandfathered in at ridiculously low prices or got some type of huge discount in the past on your BAMX subscription. Grandfather prices, the category that you came in, that rolls over. So don't give up your grandfathered price. This, as you see it today here, is full price right before we go up to the $97 a month level in just a couple weeks. So a little bit more incentive besides the one-on-one IG audit with Eric. Make sure you lock in today either way on BAMX. And so go to school.com/BAMX if you want to get access. First 50 today are getting access to that Instagram audit with Eric. Everybody who signs up today will be part of that mastermind with myself and Eric as well. Already see so many of you guys locking in that offer. Even if you miss that one-on-one audit, make sure you lock in today before these prices go up. Eric, any thoughts here as we're coming down to the fourth quarter? We're going to announce some winners for BAMX here in the after party, but we're coming into the fourth quarter. This is game time. This is like 2-minute drive stuff with Jared James. Any thoughts as we enter the final talk of the Pro Bowl?
Who would you describe Jared James as? What quarterback? Is he the Tom Brady? Is he that clutch? Or is he more like a Matt Stafford, a seasoned vet with one Super Bowl ring? Who is Jared James?
We called Sharon, more of a Patty Mahomes style. If we give Jared Tom, that's like GOAT status. I'm okay with that. I'm good with Jared coming in as the GOAT. Here's the thing, guys. As we bring Jared up, and you can bring him up now if you'd like. Everybody from Kofi to Sharon to Ken to Tina to now Jared, everybody on the BAM Pro Bowl stage today has done what we all do. These are all people who have gone on listing appointments, who have worked with buyers, who have built businesses inside of real estate. And Jared is no different. This is somebody who started right where we all are as an agent and now has one of the biggest real estate companies today, Jared James today.
Byron.
Eric also has a license. I mean, that's a thing.
Just
He
renewed
has a
it, actually.
license.
Byron, I'm an idiot. It's Sean McVay, of course. Jared
Sean
James is not
McVay.
actually a player.
Wow.
He is the coach.
Wow.
He is Sean McVay. Not only is he Sean McVay's doppelganger, but you were him for Halloween, Jared, if I'm not
I was,
mistaken.
and my wife was his wife, and his wife actually commented on the photo.
Wow.
They loved it, yeah. But I go John Elway, guys. I'm old school. Like
Okay.
I'm, that was my hero growing up. So
That's right. You're a Broncos fan.
now, guys, Pro Bowl. Is anybody watching? Because I don't think anybody watches the Pro Bowl.
So
Can I
are we doing it for
Can I
real
explain,
today, or are we
Jared?
playing two-hand touch?
It's a branding thing. So if you say Super Bowl in the title,
get shut down.
like we used Bamchella when we were doing our music
even
festival
say that,
virtual
Eric.
event. If
That's
I say that,
insane.
I'll
You
get
can't even-
shot.
We had so
basically.
many cease and desist letters when we tried to do Bamchella. It was unbelievable.
Almost shut down my Instagram.
The branding police are here.
The-
They're downstairs.
They're at the door right now. So
That's hilarious.
we're making Pro Bowl actually interesting. And so this is the BAM Pro Bowl number 2. Finally, there's a Pro Bowl that is interesting. All right, so here we go. Let's kick it off with Jared. Jared, I know you've got a hard stop. Then we're going to get into our after party. We're going to announce some of the winners during the after party who locked in Instagram audit, and we'll do a deeper dive on what that all means with BAMX. But we've got Jared James here today. I just mentioned Jared's done it all in real estate. He's somebody now who owns and operates one of the largest virtual coaching companies, Jared James today. They do so much more. I was privileged to be an attendee at one of their events last year, the Jared James Advance. You can
You were
already
on
get
stage,
tickets.
man. You were on stage.
I was honored
Yeah.
to be there, though. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
taking it all in. Jared James Advance in Orlando last year. I'll tell you here at the end how you can already get access to this September's event. Jared, if you're not following him, Jared James today on Instagram, make sure you're following him. I said last year, this is the guy that blew up the most on social, paying attention to, and he's got a couple of little bonus nuggets inside this talk to help our social game. But last year in 2024, he took it to the next level. He raised the bar in the industry for all of us. So, Jared, it's an honor to have you. You and I were jamming a little bit yesterday, just some of the things that we wanted to talk about, some of the changes we've been through over the last 5 months. In fact, over the last 5 months, since the big August 17th change, commissions. There was just a report yesterday at 10 a.m. This is a press release Vanessa at BAM sent me from a study up in Boston, nationwide study that commissions over the last 5 months actually haven't changed.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
The listing commission went up 0.01%. It went up. Buy side flat. So commissions haven't changed. We haven't really seen maybe much change. So what mistakes are we making right now? Might we be overlooking as agents that we should be paying attention to?
You know what's funny, Byron? I keep a file on my phone, and I have it's called content, and I have about 37 videos in there that I never released. And one of the videos that I did not release was a prediction on what I thought. It was from months and months ago on what I thought was going to happen with commissions, and it was that exact thing. That everybody's freaking out and what's going to happen and this and that, and people just always, they get crazy with change, they get crazy with uncertainty. But those that are prepped, those that are, I always say it, when the rules change, it's annoying, it's whatever, but like if we're all on the same chessboard, but then the rules change for all of us, the best player still wins. And so, at the end of the day, we have to, if we've done things right, we've got to put the confidence in our preparation, in our work, in more than just talent. And I think that's why a lot of the industry has been freaking out, is because slowly but surely over the last 4 to 5 years, especially during a COVID area, we got more obsessed with real estate shows than we did the real estate industry. And everybody would just, if they couldn't make it at their real job, they went and got a license. And then they were shocked when that license didn't come with, an upgraded spouse, new boobs, and a fancy car. And you're now entering a market. I go and I do these events and I say, guys, how many of you have been in the industry less than 5 years? And you see these hands kind of trepidly go up, and it's like, yeah, you're experiencing a real market now. Like, this is legitimate. The real estate industry is work. It does have a high failure rate. It does have for those who succeed, it's got a very high success rate. But the ones who win because they should win. And what you're seeing right now in our industry is a reckoning, between those who were good with people and updated their Instagram profile that they were a matchmaker. I'm not in sales, I'm a matchmaker. And it's like, yeah, that's why you're broke. Like, we are in sales, and that's not a bad thing. Everyone's in sales. A stay-at-home mom or dad is in sales. They're trying to convince that kid why it's in their best interest to do whatever it is they want them to do. We're all in sales. And so it's just a matter of whether your intention is good, whether your skills are good, whether you're doing what's best for your client, all of those things. But if all of that is true, then all the noise doesn't matter. At the end of the day, those who are good at what they do and they focus on the right things, they get in front of people, and they're still going to win, because we're still a people business. Nobody to this date and nobody in the immediate future is going to add a house to a shopping cart and connect their PayPal. We at the end of the day, we're still a people-to-people business, and it doesn't matter what the headlines say and all the fear tactics. The majority of the market has no idea what's happened. They were one of the best things you can ask people when you go into an appointment or anything of any kind. One of the best things you can do is, instead of getting ready and telling them everything and doing whatever, just leave with curiosity. And they say, I heard, but what did you hear? Just let them talk. And what you find out is almost like, I don't know if you know this, but we just came through a political season where people, on their life defended people that they would never want their kids to grow up and be like, they're like, he's a this, she's a that, it's all headlines. Nobody really knows anything. And that's kind of what's happened in the real estate market, is everybody's an expert now because they watch Good Morning America. But once you get over the headline and you get into actual curiosity, they're like, my sister forwarded me something and I was told I had to bring it up. And now you realize that the problem with amateurs in the market we're in right now is that amateurs expose themselves because, in an effort to get people to know how much they know, they actually make people say no. Like, have you ever noticed that a liar over talks? It's like, hey, where were you? Well, I stopped here, and then I went here, and I went into this aisle, and it was like, whoa, you went to the grocery store. Well, why are you giving me these kind of details, right? And it's the same thing in a professional, in a professional setting now. Amateurs right now, in an effort to get other people, because they're insecure, to get other people to know how much they know, they're making them say no. Yeah. Like, stop over talking, lead with curiosity, and then react. But you don't need to go in proving that you're a pro.
That insecurity comes just from, one of the things that comes from is not what you're talking about, leaning into curiosity where you listen. We don't want to listen when we don't have our information dialed in. We don't know it's stone cold. And you're unique. I mentioned this at the top. You're for a leader in this industry. Somebody who I think, by the way, was just announced in the top 200, Swanepoel. I think this year, I think you were just announced in the top 200. You're a top leader. in this industry, but you're unique like Sharon from that leadership level. You're somebody who's been in the trenches.
Right.
And so, yes, leaning with curiosity. I love that. That's so true. When you know your information, you can listen and you know which direction to take that conversation. So if that's the level I want to get to, where should my focus be when I leave this event, when I start my day tomorrow? What's the one thing that I can focus on in my business to take that to the next level?
I mean, I'll give you the thesis of just about every event I've done the last 3 to 5 years, and now it's coming to pass. We as an industry have not understood the lifetime value of a client. We have put our efforts in the wrong place, right? I just did a thing where I just had a video come out and I said, like, as an industry, we need to stop using this word past client. That is such a dumb term, right? Like as if they close and now they're a free agent, you know? And that's why so many of them are free agents, because we believe that and we think that. And yet when you look at the lifetime value of a client, the majority of that value is on the right side of the transaction. It's not on the left side. There's left side pre-close and there's right side post-close. And yet when you look at the majority of the time, effort, and money that people spend in their real estate business, it's on the left side. It's always chasing uphill. It's always going after. And fundamentally as an industry, what we have to understand is that the transaction does not stop at the closing. It starts at the closing. And what winners are going to do moving forward, because we're going to have a lesser percentage of people that are making more money as we move forward in this business. What they're going to do is they're going to fundamentally change the way that their business operates. And they're going to start to focus on the right side post-close and understand that at the time of the closing, that's where everything begins. That's where all of the value is. And we're going to stop putting people into a database and sending out auto messages to them that are giving them the world's best apple pie recipe. Okay? Because we live in a world where if you send me the world's best apple pie recipe, I go, Siri, what's the actual world's best apple pie recipe? Unsubscribe. Like if you send me an email as to follow up with me as a client 8 months down the road and you give me the latest mortgage rates, it might as well just be a big button that says unsubscribe, because it doesn't mean that's not valuable. And so too many of us, when we look at post-close, we are trying to check the box on doing what we think we're supposed to do, when really all of our real effort is going on the pre-close left side of the transaction. And the ones who are going to move forward, the ones who are going to win moving forward, are going to understand and get into the psychology and understand what it is that those people actually want, what brings them value, and they're going to lean into that. And now they're not going to have to do these seminars with people like me, where we're having to train you on how to overcome this objection from the settlement, and how to get people to sign this agreement they didn't have to sign before, and how to, because you know who doesn't care about any of that stuff? Somebody you're working with for the 5th time. They will sign anything you put in front of them quicker than a waiver at a bounce house. They don't care. But when you're only working with new people and you're always running uphill and you're always on that left side of the transaction and always doing, you have to convince them. The people who you have put into your funnel, now they work with you on the right side, they don't care. They already trust you. So our efforts have got to start to move to the right side of the transaction, understanding lifetime value and getting rid of this idea of past client. That's a ridiculous term.
And that's the mission that Mosaic's on to solve, is eliminating that terminology from real estate. And that's one of the things that I love about that platform. Obviously, they're a partner here for the PAM Pro Bowl. And they're, by the way, Jared, you missed their Super Bowl commercial. This is Mosaic's Super Bowl commercial at the Pro Bowl was better than some of the commercials you're going to see on Sunday. That was earlier in the program. But here's the thing that I love about that platform, and it's in line with what you're talking about.
Dude.
This happened to me on my house in Connecticut. My house in Connecticut doesn't have a mortgage. So I had a company that did my insurance, right? Well, what happens with all of the insurance companies is they go and they end up bringing in another insurance company. That insurance company writes the policy. Well, neither company is speaking to each other on updating me when the next policy is due.
Correct.
So what happens, because I don't have a mortgage, so the mortgage isn't chasing me down on that house to like, you need to have insurance. My insurance lapse because I'm in 2 states. I'm not looking at the mail. I'm not paying attention. And all of a sudden, I've got no insurance. I'm like, holy smokes, I've got no insurance.
Yeah.
Now, think about that from the agent-client perspective, client for life. I don't want to eat a cupcake, and I don't want my kids eating cupcake. So cupcakes are cute, but if you drop it off at my doorstep as my agent, I'm just going to say, okay, great. Thanks a lot. You cost me my diet here today. Not a great thing.
There you go.
But if you actually sent me the notification automated that my insurance is coming up, now I see value. Hey, this guy's got my back.
Dude, they're so well positioned right now. I said at an event recently, I was like, you either use them now or you use them in 2 years, but your area might be sold out by then. Like, they are so well positioned as one of the first companies to come in and be financed with the idea of empowering the agent and transparency instead of taking over the agent. I mean, look at this. This
Jared,
is why I love.
if your financial advisor, and listen, I think the cupcakes and the pies and the apple pie thing is a fine, nice thing to do. But if your financial advisor sent you cupcakes, what would you say to her? What would you say to him?
What would I say?
Yeah, like what? Like, it would be so confusing for my financial advisor to send me cupcakes, send me dividends, send me reports on my earnings.
Yeah, man. I honestly, like, you break the diet. I mean, I'm different than you. I would like to eat them. I'm just not going to unless it's a very specific time. But look, man, let's look at it like this. This is why I love when you and I talked. I said, don't tell me questions, don't whatever. Let's just go. Look at what just came out, right? Compass One, right? Just came out. And the whole that you look at the focus of that, obviously there's a whole other conversation to be had as far as the future of real estate and the idea that you've got pre-market inventory, you've got exclusive inventory. But the most interesting part of that is the idea of having that client portal, which is what our industry is missing right now. Because I think that's where our industry is going. That's something like Mosaic does, where they're ahead of the game, where you have that client portal in a world where buyers and sellers go, well, my agent didn't do anything. And yet when you look at, if you were to talk to the agent base, they're like, what are you talking about? That transaction was a crap show. And because the agents did their job so well, they've now convinced consumers that they didn't do anything, because they protected them from that bat crap crazy buyer or seller on the other side, whatever it was. And so when you look at the future of our industry and you look at other industries similar to ours, I think we're going to a place of actual transparency, not what NAR calls transparency, which is no transparency at all, but actual transparency, where you are now bringing the client into the transaction. They're seeing what you did at 1 o'clock in the morning. They can get as many notifications or as little notifications as they want. And I've seen people talk about this and go, I don't need the client watching over me, and going, hey, someone who's doing their job doesn't mind. And that's what's going to win moving forward. And more importantly, those agents that adjust to where we're going, giving that true client experience and bringing them into the transaction, the ones who want to capitalize on right side because they're going to bring them into the transaction and have access to them long term, they're not only going to separate themselves with what they're going to show to the client, but then when that client goes to the next agent and goes, hey, the last one said they were going to put me on this app and I'm going to have access to this list of vendors that I want. I'm going to have access to any search capabilities that I want. And they're going to start showing them everything. Now that next agent is going to be at a disadvantage. They're going to go, let me look into it. And so that's the next level of where this industry is going, is that we're going to actually bring transparency. And almost like the first time when .loop came out and they did that collaborative thing, where it was like, no, not send it there, send it back, send it whatever. They said, we're going to collaborate. Vendors are all going to come to the same place. Buyer and seller are going to come to the same place. We're going to collaborate. That is now happening with the whole process. And agents are either going to get on board with that, or they're going to keep trying to hide everything and say, no, this isn't for you, because they think that's where their value is. And it's no different than when the Zillows of the world and all these others started getting the data, and our whole industry was up in arms saying, that's our data, you shouldn't have it, you shouldn't. And the victory was already lost. And so the ones who get ahead now are the ones who are going to win. We are not in a world where you give more information and you lose. We're in a world where you give more information and you win. When you give more I'm a guy who puts out content like crazy, and yet I run a coaching and training company. And so there's people who would go, well, wouldn't you just save that for behind the wall? Wouldn't you just, well, there's even better stuff back there. But at the same time, I'm going to give more content than anybody else. And that's why I'm going to win, not why I'm going to lose. And that mentality has to be adjusted, has to be adopted by agents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you nailed it. We're really good at the left side, which is what your CRM is useful for. The right side, the stuff that you're talking about, creates client relationships for life. Brings those referrals a lot closer. So you led with curiosity. Let's lean into curiosity. Let's listen.
Byron, can I say one more thing about that? We have to understand moving forward, we're all fighting. Like when I talk to the industry, we're all sitting here fighting to keep things as they are. And our mentality is like, but I do this, but I do. And like, agents are not understanding the fundamental shift that is coming, that you are moving into an advisor role. And if you continue to push the idea that you're valuable because of services you're providing that technology, AI, and anything else can provide, you might as well lay out the stake, the sword, and just lie on it. Because that's ultimately where that argument is going. We have to fundamentally rethink what our value is moving forward in a post-settlement, post-technology world where AI and these other things are real. You know, in a world where, you know, NIL, name, image, likeness, has more to do than just athletes. You know, you're now going to have salespeople, people who convert, that once they're on video, once they're out there, they can be duplicated to say and do anything. And now that's replicable even when they're not working. And so we have to rethink the future of what our value prop is that isn't immediately replaceable by a tool or by an AI or it's a completely different conversation.
No question about it, Jared. I mean, just
by the way,
absolutely.
man, there's gonna be a lot of that at the advance, by the way. Like my head is spinning right now the more I get into this stuff.
Advance September 18th and 19th. I'm hoping I get an invite back there.
Of course, of course.
But September 18th and 19th, Jared James Today /advance. Last year, September in Orlando. This will be in Orlando again.
Yeah.
Was electric. I love the community you've built, Jared. So, Jared, I want to wrap with this. You led with curiosity. I'm in full agreement there. You led with second part of this was about clients for life. There's a lot of different nuggets. I hope you're taking notes. There's a lot of different nuggets sprinkled in throughout those two themes. I remember you talking recently about, you know, the 6 touches. So our ability to stay in front of people today has changed, but has it really changed? So when we're thinking about how do we touch a client 6 times or more digitally or in marketing, right?
Not like in a #MeToo way.
Not in a Me Too way.
We're talking, different kinds of touches, Byron. I just want to make sure you guys don't get yourselves in trouble here.
That's right. That's right. So how should we do that in today, 2025? How should we stay in front of people so we have more clients of life, not less?
Yeah. So first off, the thing you're talking about is, you know, I'm a big believer. You marry the principle, you date the model. Okay. And what that means is principles are tried and true. They don't change. Like it's, you know, what's true 50 years ago when it's a principle is true 50 years from now. It's true, whatever. But so you marry the principle, you date the model, right? And the model is the strategy. That's constantly changing. We're not calling phone books anymore. We're using them as a way to prop up a child at a table. Okay. Like they're not used for the same thing. And so the idea, though, is that the principle in the past was that in order for a consumer to remember you, you had to touch them 6 different times. Like that's, you know, it used to be postcard and a billboard and a magazine and a, you know, whatever. But after 6 times, they remember you. Well, the principle remains true, but the strategy changes. And that's where we need to adjust. And so when you talk about, I mean, look, you guys focus so much on social media, and I don't even like to call it social media. It's not social media, guys. It is no more social media than this is a phone, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, I do everything but talk to people on this. It's not a phone. It's a little computer in my pocket, but it's not a phone. I don't talk to people. Like if you're not my wife or my kids, I don't really talk to anybody on it, right? So we keep calling it social media, but the truth is it's modern day marketing. That's all it is, okay? And so the beauty of what I'm about to tell you is that for everybody listening right now, I am not someone who you're going to hear this from, but I don't do what it is that I talk about. I do what I'm talking about. So when I say social media is modern day marketing and it's the easiest way to have touches, stay in front of people, be visible because visibility trumps ability, all of that stuff, I'm doing it every single day. I had over 50 million views last year from doing exactly what I'm about to talk about. The number one way that you stay in front of people in a way that is non-intrusive, doesn't bother them, doesn't whatever, is through consistent content. Now, it's not enough just to do content. And by the way, content is easier than ever with green screens and the ability. I just put a video out. Go to Zillow, go to homes.com, go to realtor.com, go to their blogs. They pay millions of dollars to know what people want to hear about. Go steal the info. Go do, you know, content on that info. Steal content from me.
Go to nowbam.com.
Go to nowbam.com. That's exactly right. Like go to these places and like look at what they're talking about and talk about it. But it's also not enough just to put content out. So when you're putting content out, let's start with one thing. Don't ever disrespect a view. Those of you that are out there going, but I only get 217 views. What would you pay to have 217 local people listen to your boring real estate video, you talking about buying and selling? How much would you pay to put them in a ballroom? It's a lot. So number one, let's not disrespect the views. You don't need the number of views I get in order for it to matter with you locally. But there is a bit of tactician to it, okay? I could start with a brand new account tomorrow and get millions of views in month one.
Yeah.
And it's because as a business owner, I cannot be in business for myself and not understand modern day marketing, which is social media. So when you start to look at the algorithm, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but the one thing I'll leave you guys with is whenever you make a video, it's not enough just to make the video. You need to think on two levels, okay? There is one thing that drives engagement more than anything, okay? And that is shares, the ability for someone to share content, okay? And this is somebody, by the way, I put up something this week, has 1.5 million views, and 91% of them are non-followers.
You're doubling down on what Sharon shared about shares earlier. This is
I didn't hear what he said, but
this is good stuff. This is an important point to hammer home.
Here's the two questions you ask yourself before every single video you make. The first one is obvious and it's super simple. And it's, what does my consumer want to hear? Obvious. That's an easy one. Don't worry. I know you guys aren't writing notes on that one. That one's simple. The second one is the genius. The second one is the secret sauce. It is, what does my consumer want their people to know? That is how you create shares, which takes the algorithm that then goes to everybody else who doesn't follow you, which builds your audience. Visibility trumps ability. So what does that mean? If you look at the majority of my videos, I address not only you guys, but then I go and I address buyers and sellers, because I know that you want to take the message I'm giving to your buyers and sellers to have third-party endorsement. What you need to be thinking about is, who are your consumers' people? And it's their family, their friends, the naysayers. And so what that means is, you don't just make a video about rates and go, hey, if you're thinking about moving, but you want to wait until rates go down and blah, 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 and you don't just talk to the consumer and say, but wait a second. What you do is you think about the consumer's surroundings and you say, hey, you probably have well-intended people around you that are telling you to wait till rates go down so that you can pay less per month. The problem is that there are a lot of people sitting on the sideline, and when those rates go down, when you get off the fence, so are they. And when all of them get off the fence, that's going to create bidding wars, which means the prices are going to go up, which means you're going to pay more than you would have right now. And what I know about the market is that I can always refinance a rate, but I can't do a clawback on where prices used to be. And so while those people have very good intentions, you can see it's not a very good idea. And now they take that information, they go, Mom, you got to see this. Ma, it's a bad idea to wait. Dad, friends, whatever. And now what I've done is I've taken good content and I've made it shareable. And when the platforms see those shares, they start to go, we got a good one here. Because you have to remember that those platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these different places, YouTube, they are trying to play to their consumer, and they want their consumer to have a good experience. So if your content is not only good, but it's not shareable either, you didn't speak in a way that made it shareable, they're not going to then send it to everybody else on that platform. But if they start to see shares, especially DM shares, direct message shares, they go, we got a good one here. And over time, what happens is that you as an individual, you may do this for months and not see a great reaction. Then all of a sudden you spike. And it's because behind the scenes, they don't call it this, but we all have a social media credit score, which is basically the platform's score on you that says whether you're someone that is going to make their consumer happy or you're going to bore their consumer. And the higher that credit score goes, the higher your credibility goes. And now what happens is, every time you put something up, the platform goes, ding, ding, ding. It's him again. It's her again. I'm sure it's great stuff. And they start to share it. So you have to think on two levels. What does my consumer want to hear? What does my consumer want their consumer or their circle to hear? That's how you create the algorithm working in your favor. That's how you create engagement.
And we talked about studying Ken's playbook locally. Follow Jared at Jared James today on Instagram when he's putting out a green screen. How do you lead with that hook? That interesting way to lead with that. That's the stuff that's going to, listen, a lot of, when he's saying, hey, they want to go back to their family, when Jared's talking about that, they're talking about some crappy Fox Business article that their uncle sent and said, real estate's going to crash, don't buy. And then they're like, wait a minute, this is the actual actual details of that article. You didn't bother to read it. You were headline reading. Here's the information broken down in 30 seconds. And Jared's doing that right now with the green screen game better than anybody.
Byron, the thing that we have to remember is that most people look at objections from people as a bad thing. But objections, when you're a professional, are a willingness on their end to extend the conversation. Like, that's a good thing. That means that there's some hope there. But you have to remember that whenever you answer an objection, 90% of what they're doing when somebody asks you something or objects to something you say or isn't sure about something you do or isn't whatever, is they're telling you, give me the information that I can justify to the people around me. Because while it's not the greatest thing in the world, most people live for and do things for the people around themselves more than they do themselves. They don't want to disappoint their family. They don't want to, so they need to be able to justify to the people around them why they made the decision they did. So half the time they come up with an objection, they're just going, tell me what I'm supposed to tell them. And so what we can do in video, and we can scale, is we can cover topics and content on the stuff in our industry that people have questions about. And we can already get ahead of the idea that I'm going to do this in a way that's going to give you an answer for them so that you can send a third-party professional endorsement. That's not you saying it, it's a pro. And that's how you get stuff shared. And that's how you get a good social media credit score. That's how your engagement goes up, non-followers, visibility, all of it is you just make that little tweak.
Jared James at Jared James today. Thank you for going over. We're running a little bit late here on the Pro Bowl. So much action, so many TDs all day long. And Jared, you just spiked one into the end zone here to finish off. Make sure you connect with Jared at Jared James today on Instagram. If you want to hang out at the Advance in Orlando, I will be there with Jared and his amazing community, September 18th and 19th. JaredJamesToday.com/advance. That's going to be in Orlando. Those tickets are available now. That'll be the lowest price that those are available,
that's
by the way.
true. Yeah.
And I can't wait for that. That was my first Advance. It was your 10th.
Yeah.
When we went in September, and I was just blown away how much you're giving into your community. You're leaning in, and I love being a small part of that and looking forward to this year's.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And guys, I do got to jump off. I got another meeting here, but I'll be checking my DMs later. Guys, reach out, connect. I'm on all the platforms. Love to connect with you guys. Love this community. So I'm glad we were able to make this work. So Eric, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Thank you, Mr. McVeigh. Amazing presentation.
Oh my God.
There's no one I like collabing more with on
great
Instagram, by the way, than you. Anytime I collab with Jared, instant engagement, instant
electricity.
What was it you wrote me? I was at dinner the other day, and you're like,
you were at
"Dude,
dinner.
what do
You
think of
popped
this?"
out of dinner. You popped out of dinner, went in your car, and then filmed it on the spot right there. It was about the way agents can reach out to clients or something. Was it the FEC or FCC?
Oh, that's what it was. It was the whole thing was it about it being postponed or something?
Yes, exactly. But also,
Jared, where'd you go to dinner?
Oh, come on. Where'd you go to dinner? Who cares about that part?
Did you go to our spot? Where'd you go?
I didn't go to our spot, man. I'm sorry.
All right,
I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that
for us.
They wouldn't treat
have
you
a
the same
spot.
if you weren't with me.
We have a spot. We are
Let's just name the
OG
spot.
Connecticut
It's
boys.
Denny's. It's Denny's.
Denny's, fantastic.
Denny's.
I just want to say one more thing about Jared's content. His green screens, he has a text-based hook on every single one. So your initial hook, it's not just what's coming out of his mouth, it's the text-based hook. Chelsea Pice talked about this on one of our BAM virtual events. And the way he talks to the consumers, to his audience, is so casual. It's not like, hey guys, here are 5 reasons why you should hit your client in the head with a shovel. Like I try to do that sometimes and it sounds ridiculous, but Jared talks the way he talks right now, conversationally, and it's really effective for content. So go follow Jared James today, right now, so you can emulate that style. Great
Guys,
work.
connection over perfection. It's what matters. It's what people want to do. The more people don't connect with perfect people, the more perfect you try to become, the more takes you do, the harder you are making it for people to connect with you. At the end of the day, if you're doing 27 takes, we probably have a disconnect between what you think you look like and what everybody else sees. So just get it done and move on. In real life, you don't get to be in the middle of a conversation and go, oh, hold on, restart. You don't get to do that. So don't do it on video.
Do that.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing if you could just stop and replay. Thank you so much, Jared.
All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you
later.
Thank you, Jared. At Jared James today. Eric, you'd use that hidden power all the time. You'd stop and replay all the time, wouldn't you?
Just a lifelong mulligan within conversations. I would like to use it on the golf course all the time, but also if I'm just talking to someone, maybe at a show, maybe my real estate career would have been more effective if I could just pull myself out of those positions and head right back in.
Well, one of the things we're making sure that you don't have to hit the pause button, have the information at your fingertips, is with BAMX. So this is the after party, Eric.
Yeah.
Remember, first 50 signups today get a one-on-one Instagram audit with Eric in the new BAMX community over on School. So go to school.com/BAMX, or you can hit the QR code here. First 50, you're going to get an Instagram audit with Eric. We're about to start announcing some of those first 50 winners. Everybody who signs up today will get a mastermind with me and Eric. Current BAMX members, if you haven't migrated over to School yet, we've soft launched it this week. Make sure you check your email and do that. Your payment doesn't change. Don't go unsubscribe and resubscribe. You're grandfathered in at your current rate. With
I got to make sure that I talk a little bit about what this was about. So BAM stands for Broke Agent Media. Friends of mine, Byron Lazine, Eric, Simon, also known as the Broke Agent. He created this almost like this meme account that grew into basically some of the best real estate training platform that is around. And so when they have an event like this one online or in person, it's called BAM. So when they have an event like this, they usually bring on key speakers that do an incredible job. And so that was their event, at least a portion of their event. And if you need any more about this particular event, DM me at Boston on it, and I will make sure to send a link for you. It is a membership cost to be part of this event. However, get so much value in that if you can swallow the cost. So thanks again. I do have an affiliate link for BAM, I believe. And so if you need that link, I'll be happy to send it to you. This was really, really good. My favorite. I love Ken Posick. Seen him speak a lot. We've hung out a few times in Houston and in Ohio and in Austin. And so whenever he has something that he's doing, it's almost always good. So once again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this and if you want that link. Take care. Have a good one.